Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's notification is on Manipur Public Service Commission (MPSC). This notification was released on 3rd of February 2026 and is for the direct recruitment of assistant engineer/manager. In total, we have 130 vacancies in various departments under the government of Manipur. Firstly, the candidates will have to apply from their official website, that is www.empsconline.gov.in. Online application has started, which was from 7th of February 2026 and will be till 28th of February 2026. In today's video, we will be discussing post distribution, essential qualification, eligibility condition, and application fees. Now, post distribution for assistant engineer/manager in civil. It falls under level 9 group A. Serial number 1, we have PWD assistant engineer in civil. In total, there is 39 vacancies, out of which 21 is unreserved and 12 is reserved for ST candidate. 5 is also reserved for OBC M candidate and 1 is reserved for OBC MP candidate. In total, there is 2 vacancies for PWD candidate. Serial number 2, we have PHED Assistant Engineer in Civil. In total, there is 28 vacancies, out of which 16 is unreserved and 8 is reserved for ST candidate. 3 is also reserved for OBC M candidate and 1 is reserved for OBC MP candidate. 1 is also reserved for PWD candidate. In serial number 3, we have Water Resource Assistant Engineer in Civil. In total, there is 20 vacancies, out of which 13 is unreserved and 5 is reserved for ST candidate. 2 is also reserved for OBC M candidate, and 1 is also reserved for PWD candidate. In serial number 4, we have Minor Irrigation Assistant Engineer in Civil. In total, there is 5 vacancies, out of which 2 is unreserved and 2 is reserved for ST candidate. 1 is also reserved for OBC M candidate. In serial number 5, we have RD and PR, RED Assistant Engineer in Civil. In total, there is 4 vacancies, out of which 3 is unreserved and 1 is reserved for ST candidate. In 6th, we have RD and PR, which is in the RDA Assistant Engineer Civil. In total, there is 8 vacancies, out of which 5 is unreserved and 2 is reserved for ST candidate and 1 is also reserved for OBC M candidate. In serial number 7, we have TA and H, Assistant Engineer in Civil. In total, there is 3 vacancies, out of which 2 is unreserved and 1 is reserved for ST candidate. And in serial number 8, we have MSP TCL, Manager in Civil. In total, there is 1 vacancies, out of which the 1 post is in unreserved category. Now, if we look at the grand total, we have 108 vacancies, out of which 63 is in unreserved category and 31 is reserved for ST candidate. 12 is also reserved for OBC M candidate and 2 is reserved for OBC MP candidate. Now for Assistant Engineer/Manager in Electrical, it falls under Level 9 Group A. Serial number 1, we have MSP TCL Manager in Electrical. In total, there is 14 vacancies, out of which 8 is unreserved and 3 is reserved for ST candidate. 2 is also reserved for OBC M candidate and 1 is reserved for OBC MB candidate. 1 seat is also reserved for PWD candidate. In serial number 2, we have MSPCL Manager in Electrical. In total, there is 8 vacancies, out of which 7 is unreserved and 1 is reserved for OBC M candidate. If we look at the grand total, there is 22 vacancies, out of which 15 is unreserved and 3 is reserved for ST candidate and 3 is also reserved for OBC M candidate and 1 is for OBC MP candidate. Now for essential qualifications. For serial number A, we have Assistant Engineer/Manager Civil in PWD, PHED, Water Resources, MI, RED, DRDA, DANH, and MSPTCL. The required essential qualification is degree or AMIE in civil engineering or its equivalent from a recognized university or institution. And also another option is diploma in civil engineering having a minimum of 3 years course or its equivalent from a recognized university institution with at least 5 years service as SO grade 1 or a post declared by the government as equivalent thereon to a regular basis. Now for serial number B, that is Assistant Engineer/Manager Electrical in MSPTCL and MSPCL. The required essential qualification is degree in electrical engineering or its equivalent from a recognized university or institution. And the other option is diploma in electrical engineering having a minimum of 3 years course or its equivalent from a recognized university institution with at least 5 years SSO grade or a post declared by the government as equivalent thereunto a regular basis. Now for the eligibility conditions. Firstly, the candidate must be a citizen of India. And in second, we have a candidate must be able to speak Manipuri, Meitei, Meitei Aeon, or any of the tribal dialects of Manipur. Now, in serial number 3, we have a candidate must be a permanent resident of Manipur, provided that the candidate whose parent or any of his or her ancestors in his or her direct lineage are and were permanent resident of the state with proper documentary proof like enrollment in the electoral roll and birth certificate, then he or she will also be eligible. And in third, we have age limit. The candidate should not be less than 21 years of age and not more than 38 years of age. Age will be calculated till 1st of July 2026. And remember, upper age limit is also relaxable. For example, 5 years for SC and ST candidate, 3 years for OBC candidate, and 10 years for PWD candidate. The date of birth shall be as entered in the matriculate or high school leaving certificate or secondary school leaving certificate or in a certificate recognized by the Indian University. Also remember, no other documents relating to age like horoscope, affidavits, birth extract from municipal corporations, service records, and the like will be accepted. Now for the application fees. Candidate will have to pay an amount of rupees 600, which is for general and OBC candidate. And the rest other category, for example like SC and ST, they will have to pay an amount of 400 rupees. And also fee is exempted for differently abled person. Candidates can pay by using net banking, Visa, MasterCard, and debit card through their official website, that is www.empsconline.gov.in. Now for the plan of examination, syllabus and venue for written examination and interview will be notified in due course. And also the written examination is tentatively scheduled to be held on 4th to 6th of April 2026. Now, the link to the official notification is also given in my video description below, to which I request the candidates to download and go through it properly and carefully. That is all from today's notification. If you have found this video informative, do consider liking this video and sharing it with your friends. And do support my channel by subscribing. Thank you for watching the video till the end.